We have 12,000 missing allies. There are 70,000 missing Afghans altogether.
70,000?
The women, the ones who've been able to report, 80,000 have reported raped in the last 2.5 years, and 15,000 children have reported rape in the last 2.5 years. And these are people capable of reporting. Most of these people are prisoners in their own house and can't even get out and say, something has happened to me. I've been impacted by something.
That is just so sad. I've seen the videos of what they're doing to them.
Yeah, the torture videos are horrible that they're sending to Americans.
Moving back to Afghanistan, how many of our allies have been captured since we pulled out of there?
Yeah, so these numbers are pretty sombering. I mean, they were asked recently on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and of course our military leaders didn't even know them, right? Which is really frustrating. So I'll do killed, captured. So the number of our allies killed right now is just over 10,000. The number of our allies captured is 30,000. 18,000 of the 30,000 have gone through kind of like this fake justice system. I don't know what you call it. They basically go through whatever Taliban Sharia law court is, and then you get a prison sentence or you get executed or whatever they decide your fate is. 12,000 are completely missing from the ally count. We don't know if they're dead, being tortured. There's all these secret prisons. There's GDI has secret prisons. The MOI, the Ministry of Interior, has a secret prison. The MOD, Ministry of Defense, has secret prisons. There's a freaking secret prison in Gecko Base. There's a secret prison in Helmand. So it's very unclear, right, who of the 12,000 is alive and who's dead. Now, I'm just talking allies. So we have 12,000 missing allies. There are 70,000 missing Afghans altogether.
70,000?
Yes. That are in one of these secret prisons or dead and their family has not been notified because the Taliban came and they disappeared and never saw them again. So see, the numbers are staggering. And then I just
want to, for the audience who are wondering what allies we're talking about,
Sure.
We're talking about the Afghans that we were partnered with, that we were training, that we were fighting with alongside for 20 years.
Yeah. When I'm talking allies, I'm pretty much only talking the military and police that worked with us.
Yeah.
Basically, there's 200,000 of them in this bucket, okay, in Afghanistan. And so what the Taliban has done is they've gone in and taken their homes, right, taken their properties, taken their businesses. They've pushed them off their land. Heck, they've cut power. I know some that the Taliban cut power 2 years ago and refused to put it back on. One guy was because he was a police officer, they won't put the power back on in his house. So people need to understand there's 200,000 of these being impacted just of our allies. They've already killed 10,000 of them. And remember, in the 20 plus years of war we were in, just under 2,500 Americans died. In 2.5 years, 10,000 of these police and military died. And remember, those aren't the numbers even that include the women who've been killed or any of that. The women, the ones who've been able to report, 80,000 have reported raped in the last 2.5 years, and 15,000 children have reported rape in the last 2.5 years. And these are people capable of reporting. Most of these people are prisoners in their own house and can't even get out and say, something has happened to me. I've been impacted by something.
Man, that is just so sad. I've seen the videos of what they're doing to them. And
yeah, the torture videos are horrible that they're sending to Americans.
It's a disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
That we just abandoned them like that, just at the drop of a dime.
Yep.
What do you think's going to happen if we have to go back in there? Do you think any of these people are going to partner with Americans ever again?
Yeah. Well, I think they will, because a lot of my information comes from people still willing to partner with Americans, right? The thing is, though, I do not think we should do U.S. troops on the ground, because we lost in Afghanistan because of U.S. policy. U.S. policy is not going to change while we fight a better war against terrorism. No way. I mean, we even see that with while we're trying to dictate Israel's war, right? The U.S. are not going to go and eliminate a terrorist group. In Afghanistan, we don't have it in us, right?
Yeah.
And I watched it. I got to watch it in East Libya. I got to watch General Haftar do it, right? He did it the way he needed to do it, and he was very successful. But that is not the way the Americans are going to do it. So I think the Americans should and will end up be supporting the anti-Taliban resistance, probably the Pakistani military. But the Pakistani military, we got to deal with some major issues, right? Especially the fact that they are almost stuck with their only lever being ISIS, which is crazy, right? But they need to realize, like, ISIS is not a lever, right? Like, there are no good comes from any government who uses ISIS against other groups, right? So we have to deal something with, we gotta, like, maybe take the money we're giving to Taliban and ISIS and give it to, like, the resistance of Pakistan. Like, we have to do something to break Pakistan giving ISIS the safe haven. But anyway, because remember, all those years we fought in Afghanistan, terrorists fell back to Pakistan, right? And luckily we did capture and kill some there, but that's still a safe haven for them. So even if, let's say we fund the resistance like we're doing Ukraine or something, and they go in, if a bunch of terrorists fall back to Pakistan and they can't action them, we get back to the same situation, right? Like, we have to keep the terrorists contained in Afghanistan and get them in Afghanistan. Like, that is what needs to be done. And we got into this mess with Pakistan years ago when we funded the old Mujahideen against the Soviets, right? And I do think the only way out of this and the only way to deal with this insane terrorist safe haven in Afghanistan is we got to do it with Pakistan, and we got to do it with the anti-Taliban resistance. And somehow we got to get the anti-Taliban resistance in Pakistan to be like, guess what? Water under the bridge, you know? A lot of bad history, but like the future is worse. Like, we have to work together, and I think that's going to be any future of a success.
Man, you know, since the last time we spoke, you had mentioned that there are Benghazi terrorists in Afghanistan. Have there been any developments on that?
Mostly just the fact that, like I said, we've confirmed their locations. We told you we've identified. So remember, we found Musa. Mm-hmm. And then we proved that he is making these passports, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the key thing we've been working on in terms of Afghanistan. And then, as you can imagine, there's others in the hopper that we think are going to move to Afghanistan. And so we're working on them. And then
are they key players?
Key players.
What do you think they'll be doing?
To be honest, some are probably going to take senior leadership roles in Al-Qaeda. So we have this second generation issue, if that makes sense. So when the Benghazi attacks happened, we killed a terrorist named Abu Yahya al-Libi, right? Like, he has sons now, right? Like, where are his sons? There's another senior terrorist, Abu Faraj al-Libi. Where are his sons? We had the planner of the Kenzi and Tanzania attacks, Abu Anas al-Libi, that, you know, we captured in Libya. His son now is Al-Qaeda, right? So there's the second generation that, if they didn't grow up in Afghanistan, they now want to move in and do kind of basically what their fathers did and move up in the ranks and be this next generation of Al-Qaeda. And that's being completely ignored. So we're trying to, at least the best we can in our investigation, try to figure out where these second generation are. And the crazy part is, he wasn't one of our attackers, but there is a second generation Al-Qaeda guy. He's now running Al-Qaeda kind of in the northern part of Afghanistan. He's the key Al-Qaeda commander. And his son, of all things, it went the other way. His son just showed up in Libya. His son's never lived in Libya. He moved to Afghanistan during the Mujahideen era. He spent years in Bosnia. The Russians captured him in Bosnia, locked him up. At some point they released him. The son has only ever lived in Afghanistan, and then he just showed up in Libya this week. It's like, okay, now what's going on? So there's this huge gap in the second generation of these terrorists that I don't think anyone is collecting on.
Man, we had a kind of an offshoot discussion about how terrorists are misusing the U.S. justice system. Can you go into that a little bit for the audience?
Yeah, we touched on this in our book, but I want to give the full details of actually what's happening so people understand. So, at least in the case of Benghazi, we have 2 terrorist families who are using the U.S. justice system to basically do court cases against the people doing the counterterrorism operations against them. So they're basically counting operations against terrorists as war crimes. I mean, if you can understand how this becomes a problem. I hope you're enjoying my interview with Shawn Ryan. Now, if this is the content you like and you hate surface level news, you should check out my channel. the watch floor. On the watch floor, we'll explain to you how extremist networks operate, how current events are actually unfolding on the ground, how to keep yourself safe, and why some threats never go away. If you want to know more than 99% of people who are just scrolling through headlines, this is the channel for you.